See, we're inside the belly of the beast, inside the Walmart. See if you can find the green scrubby deal. Go. Green scrubby deal. Can you do it? I bet you can. It's $1 prize, the first person who can find it. The green scrubby things.
It's in the wash area.
You got it, you think?
Yes.
I bet you got it. Ooh, Operation Self-Sufficiency seems to be going well. Seems like the kids are... Let's see here. Bean seems to know where she's going. Can she find it? The first one to find it, and be honest, no cheating, no mub grabbing. Well, it just depends here. It just depends if we want to be socialists or capitalists. First one to find the green things. The green scrubby things that somehow got thrown away.
Please go to Tyson's store.
Will these count?
Nope, that's going to be like steel wool. That's going to rip the face off of a... What is that? Maybe that's not. Maybe that's an easy scrubber.
Yeah, it's a scrubber.
Oh, I don't know if that serves it. Yeah. I want the green thing, though. The contest was for the green thing. Ooh, that's a big win right there. Who spotted it first?
I think me.
Ooh, winner.
I saw it.
Boom. Good work, friend.
Thanks.
In the world of business, it's another thing my rich dad pointed out to me. In the world of business, there are 4 types of people. And E stands for employee, S stands for small business or specialist, B stands for big business like Bill Gates, and I stands for investor. Our school systems do a pretty good job of educating us for here. So my poor dad always said to me, son, you go to school so you can get a job. So that's an employee's mentality. Good benefits, 401k, retirement plan, blah, blah, blah. My mother, on the other hand, and I used to argue with my dad, I don't really want a job. And my mother would say, don't argue with your dad. I said, I don't want a job. I want to be independent. She says, why? I said, Mom, I want to be rich. My mother was a registered nurse. So she said to me, she said, son, the richest people I know are doctors. I said, yeah. So you should go to medical school and become a doctor, a specialist. S stands for smart people, all this stuff. I said, Mom, there's only one problem. She says, what's that? Doctors are smart. She says, you have a good point there. You shouldn't do that.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would 2 men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, and now we're at the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Aaron Antis You now run Oklahoma's largest home building company, one of the largest home building companies in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
I'm now an entrepreneur with multiple different businesses, and both of us,
Mhm.
we both read this little book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad
Oh, yeah.
20 some odd years ago, and it
Yes, sir.
changed our lives. You were in Michigan.
I was living in my mom's basement
True
in
story.
Michigan, completely buried in debt, had no sight of how to get out, no college education, flunked out of college.
And
Yep.
I was at an Oral Roberts University dorm room, had no idea how to achieve success. And I read this thing called the cash flow quadrant. It said we have to become a great employee, and then we have to become self-employed. And then after that, we get to become a business owner, and then we get to become an investor. So here we are, both of us are investors, and we get to interview the man,
the man,
the myth,
the myth,
the legend who created
yeah.
the cash flow quadrant. Woo! Robert Kiyosaki, welcome onto the Thrivetime show. How are you, sir?
Boy, you guys are already pumped up. I mean, I moved to Oklahoma. Anyway, thank you for the kind words. At my old age, to have young people like you saying the book changed their lives
Oh, yeah.
is probably the biggest spiritual juice I get. You know, it's because
Brother, it
that
changed
makes
my
happen.
life.
Oh,
Changed
yeah.
my life. I probably purchased conservatively 1,000 copies of your book, giving it to folks. And so I wanted to tap into your wisdom on part one about the cash flow quadrant, because we have a lot of people listening to the show that will become the future generation of entrepreneurs if we can save capitalism in America. Sir, can you walk us through the cash flow quadrant? And I think it's embroidered on the chair behind you.
Sure, it's right there.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But this is my etching of it. And E stands for employee. S stands for self-employed, small business, or a specialist like a doctor or a lawyer. It also stands for smart person.
Mm.
Mm.
And then B stands for big business, according to the Internal Revenue Service. It's 500 employees or more. But B also stands for brand, like McDonald's is a brand. And brands are very, very valuable assets. And then I stands for investor, but it's actually an inside investor. And so when I was a kid, 10 years old, studying with my rich dad, he would walk me through this and be talking about your mindset. So on this side is my poor dad, go to school, get a job. He was a PhD in education. This is my mom. She wanted me to become a doctor or a lawyer. And I said to my mom, the only problem with that, Mom, is you have to be smart. She says, you're right. I guess you're not going to be a doctor or a lawyer, because I really didn't like school, And then so my rich dad was over here, and he was building a massive, massive business throughout Hawaii. So when you go to Hawaii today, if you look at Waikiki Beach, you'll see the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Rich Dad, as an inside investor, assembled all that property. And then another investor took it off his hands and built a Hyatt on it. So I watched both my poor dad and my rich dad. I watched my rich dad get richer and richer and richer, but my poor dad get poorer and poorer and poorer.
Now, I wanted to ask you this, Robert. For somebody out there listening right now, if they're an employee, okay, and let's just, because I'm going back to my 18-year-old mind. I was working at Target, Applebee's, and DirecTV. I was doing a poor job at Target, a poor job at Applebee's, and a poor job at DirecTV. And I read your book, and I'm going, I have to do a good job because I need to be able to get ahead, to become self-employed. What would you say to somebody who's kind of stuck in that rut of they're always late, never getting things done? They're the perpetuating cycle of fail employee right there. What would you say to that employee right there that's kind of stuck in that rut right now?
Yeah, but it goes deeper than that, Clay. The numbers here stand for taxes. So this is worldwide. They're pretty much worldwide. Employees pay about 40% of their income in taxes. The small business entrepreneur pays 60%. Now, when Biden wants to hire 87,000 IRS agents, he's going after this guy here.
Yeah.
These guys are already screwed. I mean, they take their taxes out before you get paid.
Yeah.
But these guys here, the IRS has to go after them. So the small business guy is going to get screwed by Biden. I mean, I hope I'm not Republican or Democrat. Trump is my friend. But these are the guys are going to go after. So what happens to a young person? They say, I'm going to quit my job and start a business. well, you move into a higher tax bracket.
Mm.
If you understand that thing, okay. And on this side, because you have employees, lots of employees, I only pay 20%. But as an insider, I can pay 0% legally. You know, I don't want to go to jail and become somebody's boyfriend. Whoa. You know, so I want to be an insider all the time. So that's my way of saying I don't own stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. I don't touch anything the stock market pumps out. I don't trust the dollar. I don't trust the treasury, and I definitely don't trust government. So that's kind of why this is so important today, especially today. And with 87,000 IRS agents coming out, you'd better get a great CPA, a tax guy. Okay, that's the big difference.
I understand what you mean, but there's people listening right now who have an SUV with a massive payment. They have a college degree with no actual practical skills, and they have a lot of degrees, more degrees than a thermometer, but they have no practical skills. Could you clarify what you mean when you often say, I'm pro-education, I'm just anti-system?
Well, it goes back again to the question I always ask is, what does school teach you about money? And for most people, it's nothing. The next question is, do you think that's a mistake? I mean, do you know what I mean? Do you think that's a mistake, or is it intentional? So that's why, you know, I talk about my book, Capitalist Manifesto, this book here. And this is the book I wrote this year. And it's in response to the Communist Manifesto. But listen to this, okay, is we were warned. I'll say it again, in the Communist Manifesto by Marx, he said communism would come in two stages. Stage one was 1930, when Columbia University was taken over by communists and still is communist today. Dennis Prager, you know, he calls Columbia one of the worst places you can go to. And then, so in this book here, Capitalist Manifesto, it says, we were warned. He says, this is from Nikita Khrushchev, 1959. He says, your children's children will live under communism. You Americans are so gullible. No, you won't accept communism outright, but we will keep feeding you small doses of socialism. And that's through our schools until you finally wake up and find you already have communism.
Right.
We will not have to fight you. We will so weaken your economy until you fall like overripe fruit into our hands. Nikita Khrushchev, 1959. This book is nothing but quotes from Stalin, from Marx, from all these guys. But the problem is most academics, like my poor dad, never read the Communist Manifesto. So they do not know they're communists.
So good.
Aaron,
I had a question about, you know, you had a quote where you said that, you know, you really all you need for success, and I'm paraphrasing, but really all you need for success is simple math skills and some common sense.
there we go.
And so, you know, when my wife and I actually taking that last quote you just used, my wife and I basically homeschooled our kids. And we did that so that they wouldn't get indoctrinated, because they're not public schools, they're government schools. And so we wanted to make sure they learned a love for learning so that they would continue to educate themselves after the fact, because we're very pro education. And so we've created children that are like that. But what happens is, you know, people start studying certain things. And when you go down a certain path of study, you get more and more and more specialized, which makes it harder and harder to turn into a B or an I, in my opinion. So what are the things, you know, you said common sense, which isn't that common, and simple math skills, you can be successful. What are the things that, you know, you would spend time on studying and learning? Because obviously you're a lifelong learner as well. Where would you go to get the learning that you need to be successful, if you're our listeners out there?
Well, that's a great question. Again, let's go back to book number 2, The Quadrant.
Yeah.
You're talking about the specialists. So what academics do, you go to, you know, you become a doctor, you're a general practitioner, then you specialize. You're an orthopedic surgeon, hearts, you know, you just keep being more specialized. But you get trapped in here and you pay the highest taxes. You can't get out. Yeah. So when I talk to parents, and I don't have kids, so I really have not qualified to talk to them, I said, the difference is your child a golfer or a football player? And you see, the thing that we were taught in the Marine Corps is Marines fight as teams. You know, when I flew in, we flew in with flights of, the gunships were 4 gunships. We always fought as a team. And when I talk to people who are golfers, they want to do it by themselves. There's nothing right or wrong about it.
Yep.
But a golfer is here
Yeah.
and a team player is out here.
That's good.
So I'm not the smartest guy, but I hire very smart specialists. I employ these guys. My tax guy, he wrote the book Tax Free Wealth. He's Tom Wheelwright. I don't pay taxes, and I don't want to become an accountant. I just call Tom up, and that's his. He's a specialist here.
He's the golfer.
He's actually a triathlete, which is even more nuts. But
Right.
anyway,
Yeah.
but he's a great team player. And so in school, being a team player means you're cheating. I was very cooperative in school. C stands for capitalist, cooperative, all that stuff. But in school, they want you to take the test on your own.
Yeah.
So this is my, I asked my accountant to write this book. It's called Tax Free Wealth.
Yeah.
Because as I said, 87,500 IRS agents are coming after this guy here.
Right.
And then why are they going to pick on this guy? Because they can't afford to fight the government.
Let's talk about your gold mine for a second and just gold in general. Okay. And I'm not making this a shameless pitch for your company because I frankly haven't researched it enough to be able to speak positively or not positively about it. All I can say is that I've looked into your career and I've benefited greatly from what you've taught me. But years ago, Robert, I met with a gentleman who owned a bank. He owns a bank. And I sat down with him and I said, I'm doing well. I'm 25, 26 years old. I'm making good money now with my entertainment company. What should I do with my money? And this is the owner of a bank. He said, step 1, do not put your money in a bank. And I'm going, what? You own a bank? He said, I only own a bank because it allows me to borrow money borrow money from the Federal Reserve. And he said, Clay, the Federal Reserve is not federal. There is no reserve. So I can borrow money from the Federal Reserve that they don't have. And I can lend it to people like you at a profit. But he said, you need to take a quarter of your cash and buy gold and silver, a quarter of your cash and buy land or property from emotional people that need to sell it. He says, look for people getting a divorce. When you see the clothes burning in the lawn and someone's yelling at their husband, get out of here. That's when you make an offer. He said, so buy real estate from emotional people with a quarter of your cash, buy gold and silver, and then take your other half, keep it cash on hand for your next business plan. And I thought, oh, wow. So I read The Creature from Jekyll Island. I started researching the Federal Reserve and I started going, oh, wow. So I have just been buying gold and silver consistently since that time. And I've seen the value of what I've purchased has tripled. And I've been buying real estate from emotional people who need to sell it. What would you tell people out there? What should people be doing with, let's say they have $500,000 of cash in the bank account? What sort of things or what mindset should people have with managing their cash?
Well, first of all, I don't give financial advice because I'm not registered to do that, and you should listen to me anyway. But I just tell you what I do. I don't trust anything that can be printed. So if you can print it, I don't want it. So that's why I say I own oil in the ground. I don't own Exxon or BP or Shell. I own cattle because you can't print cattle. I own real estate, which I use debt for, because that's what happened in 71. The dollar came off the gold standard and dollar became debt. But I gave like a guy like Dave Ramsey, who says live debt free. That's good advice for 95% of the people.
Right.
But if you want to use debt, you've got to study. And most people, as you know, are too lazy. They're not going to study. So that's why, I created my cash flow board game and all this stuff. Excuse me, you got to have a financial statement. My bankers never asked me for my report card. My bankers asked me for my financial statements.
Right.
And the average person has no idea what a financial statement is because they went to school, they're PhDs like my poor dad. The school teachers are coming out of Columbia University, which Dennis Prager says is one of the worst schools in America. But meanwhile, I just kind of stay off the beaten path and I invest in what the Fed and the government cannot print. It's that simple. So I like Wagyu cattle not because I'm a cattle guy, but I sell the semen. And, that's sperm flow, cash flow. I mean, if the Fed could print semen, I'd be out of that business. So I only invest what they cannot print. And that's my personal strategy. Everybody should find their own strategy. I also use debt. So let's say I have an apartment house and I buy it for, let's say, 20 million. I fix it, it goes to 40 million. Most people would flip it, I got 20 and went to 40 million. Well, if you flip it, you have a tax. It's called capital gains. So what I do is I borrow out the equity. So it's like a refi. So I get a $40 million property, went from 20 to 40. And let's say I borrow 10 million out. All that debt is tax-free.
Right. And
the property pays for the debt, not me. And then I reinvest in other properties. I buy more breeding bulls. I always wanted to be a Japanese breeding bull, but I never made it. So anyway, I own the bull and I sell the semen and I get a percentage off the calf.
Wow. Now, Robert, I'm going to pull up a final thing I wanted to do here. And this is, you have a lot of people in our culture today that are passive aggressive. And then there's people like myself who are just aggressive. We have these things called the Reawaken America Tour, where your friend Kash Patel, General Flynn, Eric Trump, Mike Lindell, many great entrepreneurs are at these events. And I'm open invitation to you. We're doing these all across the country. And what we're doing is we're sharing with people the truth about what's happening. And you have my promise, I will not kick you off the stage. And I will not ever kick you off of the event off the lineup like Freedom Fest did to you. So if you want to join Kash, I'm telling you, we're going to Pennsylvania here. Every one of the event has what, Aaron, 4,000 to 5,000 people. They're all sold out.
Yeah, up to 10,000.
And we stream to millions of people. Each one, the biggest stream we've ever had was 7.1 million people streamed the Tulsa event. And the average one has about 2 million people streaming, 102 streaming partners. So open invitation. If you want to join us, we'd love to have you. You can think about it, but I just want to tell you, you're invited to come to any of our events. No censorship, no editing, no teleprompters. And I know Kash is joining us in Pennsylvania. So it's my open, aggressive invitation. You are invited to come join us on the Reawaken America Tour, should you feel the need, sir.
Well, if Kash is there, I only met him for about a couple of days. The man's a stud. I was going.
And Kash told me, and we talked. Awesome. I just talked to Kash today. I just talked to Kash, and I told him what I'm plotting, what I'm planning. I'm telling him, and I really do believe. So I prayed about it. I've thought about it. I've talked to Aaron about it behind the scenes. And again, each one of these events, your people will be there. We'll buy everything you could possibly sell us and more. And we would love to have you. So again, open invitation. I can talk to your team if you want to join us. But we're going to Pennsylvania in October. It's almost sold out. We'd love to have you, sir.
I'd be honored. As the Marines would say, Semper Fi.
Semper Fi.
Okay. Well, I'll reach out to your team to see if we can make it happen. And again, thank you.
Her name is Sarah. She runs my life. And because I'm getting worse than Biden. I have no memory anymore. But, so sometimes I double book things, and she kind of keeps me straight.
Yeah. We all need one of those.
Well, sir, I'm going to give you the floor here. Final 60 seconds. People take notes. I know they're going to go to richdad.com right now. I know they're going to be purchasing a copy of Capitalist Manifesto. I know our listeners are readers and note takers. They're going to buy Capitalist Manifesto. I know they're going.
If somebody out there still doesn't own Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what are you doing? Go buy
the
book.
Come on.
We just told you how much it changed our lives.
Sir, we'll give you the final word. What would you say to all the listeners out there?
Well, the most important asset you have lies between your left ear and your right ear. It's your brain or your mind, whatever you want to call it. But you've got to be very careful who puts information in there. Is the person going to, if it's like my poor dad, I wouldn't listen to him. And if the person is an entrepreneur and all this, because I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I'll listen to him. The same as when I was getting ready to go to Vietnam, my teachers were real Marine pilots. They actually came back from combat. And so I was preparing in Camp Pendleton to go to Vietnam, and I chose the instructor very carefully. I wanted to know who the best instructor was, the best Marine gunship pilot. And that guy, I said, just trained the heck out of me. So the most important thing is choose your teachers wisely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very much choose your teachers wisely. There is nothing more important than this, what's between this ear and that ear. And be careful who your friends are. You know, there's people out there who are Judases.
Yeah.
Who will screw you.
Mhm.
And
We know
that happens a lot, unfortunately.
Robert,
So-
this was better than I possibly could have expected, sir. And I'll tell you, the only thing that was unexpected for me, I knew it would be good, is your glasses are much more incredible than I thought they would be. You've got some great glasses there, sir.
Get a good glass.
I have, at my age, I got to do anything.
All right. Hey, thank you, brother. We'll be talking to you soon, okay?
Thank you. I'd be honored. I'm honored to be on the program. So thanks, Cash-All. Thanks to the Cash-Alls.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Inflation.
Inflation.
When demand is greater than supply, either you get shortages or you get price increases. And actually what we had was a mixture of both.
We are in an inflationary spiral.
66% of people polled expect inflation to get worse.
The value of the dollar since I was born has declined by 94% to 6 cents. We are about to face one of the greatest periods of uncertainty in American history. Organize your finances, expand your knowledge, your insight as to what it is that you have, and then start making decisions.
When people go to bh-pm.com, they can schedule a free consultation. You're talking about going from the intangible into the tangible.
If you can't hold it in your hand, then it's not yours. You don't own it. You can physically hold actual gold and silver. It ships fully insured directly to your home.
Inflation rates are going to continue to rise. Don't wait. Don't keep putting off decisions that you know you must make.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas, and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement how to help you guys implement the SEO, and the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrivetime it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore now my company is much, much larger.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Okay, Aaron Antis, March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, guess who's coming to Tulsa, Jerusalem?
Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, that's March. March 6th and 7th.
Oh.
You're going to be joined by Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Probably the best-selling, or one of the best-selling business authors of all time. And he's going to be joined with Eric Trump. He'll be joined by Eric Trump. So we got Eric Trump and Robert Kiyosaki in the same place. Aaron, why should everybody show up to hear Robert Kiyosaki?
Well, you got billions of dollars of business experience between those two, not to mention many, many, many millions of books have been sold. Many, many millionaires have been made from the books that have been sold by Robert Kiyosaki. I happen to be one of them. I learned from the man. He was the inspiration. That book was the inspiration for me to get the entrepreneurial spirit, as many other people.
Now, since you won't brag on yourself, I will. You've sold billions of dollars of houses. Am I correct?
That is true.
And the book that kickstarted it all for you,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the author, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that kickstarted your career.
Yeah.
He's going to be here.
He's going to be here. I'm pumped.
And now Eric Trump, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States and soon to be the 47th president of these United States, he needed someone to run the companies for him. And so the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint. I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second. Would you buy a ticket just to see Robert Kiyosaki and Eric Trump? Of course you would.
Of course you would.
But we're also going to be joined by Sean Baker. This is the best-selling author, the guy who invented the carnivore diet.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Sean Baker. He's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. He's going to be joining us. So you've got Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Eric Trump, Sean Baker. The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa, and we had 419 people that were here. 419 people.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. No, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what, we should probably add on. So we're adding on what we call the upper deck, or the top shelf. So the seats are very close to the presenters, but we're actually building right now. We're adding on to the facility to make room to accommodate about another 30 attendees or more. So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. In anybody. Don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people through throughout your career and thousands of contractors, and most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, people are, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge. You know, learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you know, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard.
Yep.
And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. And this is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis. There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. I mean, there's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
You know, I should write that down and actually do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that we duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and
I should do that. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. Yeah. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business. But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet. And then you add to that Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You add to that Eric Trump, the man that runs the Trump Organization. You add to that Sean Baker. Now you might say, but Clay, is there more? I need more. Well, okay, Tom Wheelwright is the wealth strategist for Robert Kiyosaki. So people say, Robert Kiyosaki, who's his financial wealth advisor? Who's the guy who manages, who's his wealth strategist? His wealth strategist, Tom Wheelwright, will be here. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple. I literally bring him the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And Jill Donovan, our good friend, who is the founder of Rustic Cuff. She started that company in her home, and now she sells millions of dollars of apparel and products. That's rusticcuff.com. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma. And nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in the, it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns the. What do you call that? The rental. The
storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event. Again, the day here is March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, we just got confirmation. Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he'll be here. Eric Trump, the man who leads the Trump Organization. It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. I think that's going to change your life. I promise you, this will be 10 times better than that.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. That is, I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life changing. It is life changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right. Really. So if you're looking to have life changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you, it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.